Oh! Greetings, Wanderer. This is Atlas here, and welcome to the Void. Today I'm going to be reacting and breaking down a song called Twilight of the Gods from the Fire Emblem Shadows of Valentia original soundtrack. This is the winner entry of one of my latest polls that I did in my Patreon, as you can see here. It went against Fate Zero, and it won by basically double the votes, right? Over back to zero from Fate Zero. So that's what I'm going to be reacting and breaking down today. Although I am fairly familiar to a certain degree with this franchise, because I've reacted and broken down other songs from Fire Emblem, like End of All Below. Also, let's see what's here. The Apex of the World Reign. I also done a breakdown for that. And finally, God's Shattering Star, okay? So I'm gonna leave some of them in this card right here, but also all of them are going to be in the description of this video in case you want to check that out, alright? But before we begin, I would like to invite you to listen to my latest track, which is a Berserk inspired track called Conceived in Blood, which is actually the song that you have been listening in the background of the intro of this video. So if you like what you hear so far and you would like to listen to the full song, I'm going to leave it also in this card right here, but I'm going to leave it also in the description of this video, right? And with that being said, onward. All right. It's time for the Twilight of the Gods from Fire Emblem Shadow of Valentia. Boom. Oh! The piano run was insane! That piano run was sick. Great transition. I love the snare. The intensity of the notes in the snare. Super organic. Great symbol. That's the way I like symbols to be used. I mean, it sounds big, but it's not like overtaking all the space. That tremolo in the strings, it's crazy. Is it a little bit over? It seems to be like it's playing the same thing as before. Ugh! I can't really tell if the choirs actually have lyrics or not. Oof. Listen to the snare. Pay attention to the snare. I really like this arrangement where the trumpet overtakes the leitmotif of the track. Very nice. The circle accents. And it's going to fade out. Yeah, like half of a song is basically like the first half. Like it just looked twice, I guess. Okay, that's basically the song. I gotta tell you, I've noticed that for this, I'm not really sure if this is a Japanese game or not, but it's by the looks of it, I would say like it's 90% the possibility. They love their wall of sound sort of or orchestral arrangements, you know, super massive, super big. You know, all the orchestra just going on it. You know what I mean? Tons of accents, really big, massive unisons in terms of some of the melodies, but also, you know, the brass is really filling the gaps, let's say, to make it have a fuller sound, let's say. But we're going to be talking more in depth about that in the breakdown, so let's break it down. Alright, for this breakdown, the first thing that I want to do is just basically get a feel of the song. Not the entire song, obviously, but, you know, some of the chord progression and maybe the leitmotif and so on and so forth, which are basically like, you know, the bass line of every composition, you know, like the main melody or the leitmotif and the chord progression that you hear are, you know, some of the fundamental building blocks of a song, you could say. So I'm gonna be noodling around a little bit with the guitar to try to figure out what's going on in the song, and then I'm going to expand a little bit further into what makes this song the way it is and what's sort of the storytelling and the purpose of it being, you know, so grandiose and so on and so forth. Okay, so let's check it out. Alright, so yeah, as you can hear there, for the intro of the song, you know, the chord progression is very, very simple, but it's very effective. You know, it's oftentimes I see that sometimes going for the simple chord progression is the most effective. That you don't have to do like these crazy things like seventh chords or even go beyond that, like you know, adding you know, with chords with 11s and 13s and things like that. You know, it's not like I know the music theory behind it, but just by the sound of those kind of chords that are so elaborately massive. You know, they have a lot of notes that add to the complexity of the chord itself. It doesn't leave those kind of chords that are so massive. They don't leave a lot of space to kind of maneuver around. You know what I mean? They constrain you a lot in terms of harmonies and stuff like that. So, you know, sometimes basically going from an E minor chord to a C to A minor to B is super effective, and it's going to give you like a lot of options to build around that, you know, in terms of the harmonies and the melody and so on and so forth, because there's not going to be like 1,000 things getting in the way from a really otherwise more complex a chord to make the song what it really needs. You know what I mean? So it, like doing really complex chords is more of a things. It's more of a jazz thing, other than that, because they really like to flex in that regards in terms of the chords and whatnot. But obviously, jazz is just like a whole other thing. You know what I mean? So there's absolutely no need, at least for this track. Music is like a free form. You know, you can do whatever you want. But in my opinion, like, this song obviously doesn't need nothing else other than the A minor, what was the other? The C, the A minor, and the B, and you're good to go. Okay, so now let's explore a little bit of what the strings are doing, and you know, later on in the track you will hear that other sections of instruments actually start overtaking either the leitmotif or some of the counter melodies and whatnot that you hear in the song. So let's check it out. Very close, I think, for the most part. Now let's see what's behind the leitmotif itself. So yeah, as you can hear there, this is not entirely accurate, but because I kind of improvised something, you know, in the second when it repeats at the second time. But I want you to take a listen to this. Like when the first repetition of the leitmotif, it ends with this, but then it ends with this. Like, can you hear the difference of, you know, the feeling of those two different ways? The way the leitmotif like kind of ends one of its repetitions. It's very subtle, but it's really subtle in terms of the notes that are involved, but at the same time, it's like very defining. You know what I mean? This sounds really pretty and really hopeful, but that note right there, you know, sounds really sad and whatnot, you know, or it changes the tone a little bit towards more of a sadder tone or more melancholic kind of tone. And those kind of changes, you know, and that also is in the chord progression, you know. It's not like you always hear major chords in the thing, which are, you know, the ones that sound more happy, like, you know, like in B and C. You also have E minor and A minor, and minor chords can sound sad, can sound sad, can sound melancholic or evil even. Depending on how the arrangement is, you know. But, you know, that alternation in between minor chords and major chords and minor chords and whatnot adds to the dynamic of the tension of the track, right? Because if you are listening to something, you know, sort of sad, but then it changes to something more hopeful, then it's adding to the tension, you know, because it's trying to. It's like an elastic band, you know. You're pulling it out when you play probably something like a minor chord, but then you're pulling, like you're releasing the tension of the band back when you are playing like more, oh sorry, what the hell, you know, like a major chord. So it's that dynamic of pulling the band and then releasing it and pulling it to build the tension in the band and whatnot is what actually makes the song in a very subtle way, obviously, like a very subconscious way, you know, have that back and forth, you know, and makes the song exciting. That was my tiny little futile attempt to play something similar to what the piano run is doing, you know what I mean? Obviously it's not accurate, but it's something along those lines, and it's like a million miles faster than that, you know? I will have to maybe rearrange the way it is played in the guitar to be able to play it at that speed, you know what I mean? Or maybe use like chicken picking or something. You know, something along those lines, because it's really, really fast, and you know, there's some jumps and intervals in there that are kind of nasty, but they are interesting and they are fun to play or learn to play, you know, because when you actually achieve playing those kind of things, it feels really good. Alright, so to finalize my commentary, I would like to say that that this is more regarding the production and you know, the way the composition is. As you can hear, very much, it's very clear that the song is very epic, and it's very rambunctious. Is that the term? I don't even remember if that's a word or not. But you know what I'm trying to say. It's like a wall of sound, you know, and you hear massive string sections and brass sections. By the way, I really like the arrangement, the arrangements that were in the brass section, especially when the trumpet overtakes like the leitmotif. It's just for a brief moment, but it's very, very cool. I really like that. But there. I don't know what's happening in the game at this point, but you know, you can basically probably tell just by the name of the track, you know, it's called Twilight of the Gods, you know. Just by the title, you can kind of infer that it's like a big thing in the video game, right? And if not by the title, you can always go by the sound and the style of the arrangement of the composition itself. So you, even if you discard the name of the track itself, it doesn't matter, because just by the sound of the composition itself of the music, it's very telling that something big it's happening, you know, along with the choirs and so on and so forth. This song has so many layers to it, you know. You have the massive sections in the brass and the strings and whatnot. You have a lot of percussion also involved in the track, you know, a lot of percussion, which is very interesting, by the way. And you have the choirs on top of it, you know what I mean? Sometimes you have some brass instruments like the trumpet, like a solo trumpet. I think it was like a solo trumpet. It was not like a complete section of it or something like that, like doing the leitmotif. Although let me go back, because I mean at that point, like the whole orchestra is still sounding. It's not like a tame part of the track. Well, it might be not. It maybe like the entire section of the trumpets, but probably like 3 trumpets involved or something like that when they overtake the leitmotif. It's just like a very brief part. I really like that arrangement also. So yeah, pretty fitting track to what I think it could be about. You know what I mean? The storytelling of the track itself. So I think I'm gonna give this track a silver, almost a golden badge, but I'm gonna give it a silver badge. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like and share it with your friend. Also, please don't forget to visit my Patreon, my Ko-fi profile, and my Ko-fi store in case you want to support my work further, and my Teespring merch shop. And of course, ex nihilo nihil fit.